Jahmyr Gibbs reveals Cowboys almost drafted him, and it could have changed everything. Jahmyr Gibbs has quickly become one of the most dynamic running backs in the NFL since being selected 12th overall by the Detroit Lions in the 2023 draft. But according to the Pro Bowl back, things could have gone very differently if the Cowboys had pulled the trigger on him instead. Gibbs, who's currently ranked among the top 10 in several key rushing categories, dropped a bombshell in a recent interview with Richard Sherman on The Richard Sherman Podcast. He revealed that he knew for a fact the Cowboys were planning to take him with the 26th pick if he was still available. He also mentioned that the Bengals were eyeing a trade to move up to snag him in the late teens or early 20s. Gibbs said, "It was crazy. I knew for a fact Dallas was going to get me at 26 if I was still there. And a couple other places like Cincinnati were going to get me. I think they were going to trade up to like 18 or something around that range. But, of course, he ended up in Detroit, a team he didn't expect to draft him. A missed opportunity for Dallas and Cincinnati? Given how valuable Gibbs has been for Detroit, you have to wonder if the Cowboys and Bengals are now second-guessing their decisions. Since Tony Pollard's departure, Dallas has struggled with the run game, ranking second to last in rushing yards per game, 83.7. Meanwhile, the Bengals, who traded away Joe Mixon and have been dealing with injuries, are also near the bottom of the league in rushing yards, 89.7 per game. Instead of Gibbs, the Cowboys went with defensive tackle Mozzie Smith, and the Bengals selected edge rusher Myles Murphy. Both picks have been underwhelming so far, with Smith ranking dead last among qualified defensive tackles, according to PFF, and Murphy not faring much better. Now, both teams are left wondering, what if Gibbs's explosive start in Detroit? Meanwhile, Gibbs has been a revelation for the Lions. Despite splitting carries with veteran David Montgomery, he ranks among the NFL's best in rushing yards, touchdowns, and scrimmage yards per touch. With 1.672 rushing yards and 17 touchdowns, he's already proven to be one of the most efficient backs in the league. Bottom line, for Gibbs, his journey to Detroit worked out great. But for Dallas and Cincinnati, they might be left wondering if they missed out on a franchise-changing back who could have solved their ground game woes.